The full moon shone brightly over Mercy Hill Hospital, casting ghostly beams of light through the tall windows of its abandoned East Wing. Built in the 1800s, the hospital had been partially modernized over the years, but the East Wing remained untouched, a relic of the past closed off to everyone. No one had set foot in it for decades. However, on this particular night, Dr. Alice Bennett found herself alone in the hospital's quiet corridors, reviewing charts for her night shift. As the clock neared midnight, she noticed the unmistakable scent of smoke wafting through the hallway. Panic set in. She knew what smoke could mean. She needed to alert the rest of the staff and evacuate any patients. Following the smell, Alice grabbed a flashlight and a fire extinguisher and hurried toward the source, heart racing. The smoke seemed to lead her to a door she had never noticed before, at the end of a dimly lit corridor. It was rusted and old, with the number 6 faintly visible on the peeling paint, room 666. She hesitated. Everyone knew the East Wing was off limits, yet here she was, standing at the door to a part of the hospital that shouldn't be accessible. But the smoke was growing thicker, so she took a deep breath, turned the knob, and pushed the door open. Inside, she found herself in a long, dark hallway lined with patient rooms, each door slightly ajar. The air was thick with smoke and the pungent smell of burning wood. The walls were charred and cracked, and the floor was covered in debris. Her flashlight flickered, struggling against the dense darkness. Alice called out, "Is anyone here? You need to evacuate." Her voice echoed back to her, but there was no response. Just as she was about to turn back, she heard it, a faint cry for help. It came from deep within the hallway, from one of the rooms. She moved quickly, following the sound. As she approached room 616, the cries grew louder, more desperate. She pushed the door open and shined her flashlight inside. There, lying on a bed in the center of the room, was a young girl, no older than 8, with long dark hair and pale skin. Her eyes were wide with terror. "Please, help me," the girl whimpered. Alice rushed to her side, trying to lift her from the bed, but the girl felt unnaturally cold, her skin clammy and ice-like. "It's okay. I'm here to help," Alice said, trying to stay calm. "Let's get you out of here." But as she attempted to lift the girl, the door slammed shut behind her. The room filled with a deafening high-pitched noise like a wail. The smoke thickened, making it hard to breathe. Suddenly, the girl began to laugh, a sound that sent chills down Alice's spine. It was not the innocent laugh of a child, but something dark and sinister. "Why are you laughing?" Alice asked, her voice shaking. The girl looked up, her eyes now black as night. "You can't save me. No one can." And with that, the girl vanished, her body dissipating into a cloud of ash that blew away in an unseen wind. The wailing stopped, replaced by a deathly silence. The smoke cleared, revealing the room as it truly was, abandoned and in ruins. The walls were covered in old, faded wallpaper, peeling off in strips. The bed was rusted and broken, its mattress reduced to a pile of dusty rags. Alice backed away, her heart pounding in her chest. She stumbled out into the hallway, her flashlight flickering as if it might die at any moment. She needed to get out, to find someone, to explain what she had seen. But as she turned to leave, she saw them, shadows moving at the end of the hall coming toward her. They were figures in hospital gowns, their faces obscured, their movements slow and deliberate. They whispered her name over and over, in a chorus of ghostly voices. Panic surged through her. Alice turned and ran, sprinting down the hallway, her breath ragged and her legs burning. She reached the door and shoved it open, bursting into the main corridor of the hospital. To her shock, the smoke was gone. The air was clear, and the hospital was quiet once more. She turned back to look at the door, but it was no longer there, just a blank wall where room 666 had been. Alice stumbled back, trying to make sense of what had happened. She knew she had walked through that door, had seen the girl, and heard the whispers. But now, there was nothing. No sign that any of it had been real. But as she stood there, catching her breath, she heard one last whisper, faint and distant, but unmistakable. "We'll be waiting for you, Dr. Bennett." From that night on, Alice never spoke of what she had seen in the lost ward. But she knew the hospital held secrets, buried deep in its walls, secrets that refused to stay hidden forever. And though she tried to put the memory out of her mind, she couldn't shake the feeling that one day she would have to return to room 666